capturing the antigen, dendritic cells quickly leave the tissue for the nearest lymph node, where they present the antigen to another group of immune cells. During a viral infection, the virus attaches itself to a human cell using its spikes. Following entry to the cell, it uses the host cell's machinery to replicate, producing viral proteins and genetic material. These are then assembled into new viral particles, which are released as the host cell dies. New viral particles again infect more cells, destroying body tissues, producing symptoms. Infected cells alert the immune system by displaying pieces of viral proteins on their surface. By doing so, infected cells are said to present the viral antigen to certain immune cells, namely capturing cytotoxic T cells, and thus activating viral proteins. At the same time, debris of dead cells and viral particles are said to present the viral by so-called professional antigen-presenting cells, of which dendritic cells are most effective. Viral proteins. Dendritic cells patrol body tissues, continuously sampling their environment for intruders. After capturing the antigen, dendritic cells quickly leave the tissue for the nearest lymph node, where they present the antigen to another group of immune cells known as helper T cells. Viral particles also activate B cells in lymph nodes. These groups of immune cells work together to mount two types of immunity specific to the viral antigen: cell-mediated immunity and antibody-mediated immunity, of which dendritic cells. The process, however, may take up to a couple of weeks, during which time the person is sick and the virus will have destroyed a vast number of cells. Vaccines deliver viral antigens to trigger immune responses without causing the disease. The events of a vaccine-induced immune response are similar to that induced by a natural infection, although some types of vaccines may induce only antibody-mediated immunity and may therefore be less effective. The immune process can sometimes produce symptoms similar to a mild infection, even though there is none. As the lymph nodes near the injection site start producing antibodies, they may become swollen and tender for a few days. These are signs that the vaccine is working. Many existing vaccines contain a weakened or inactivated virus. Because the whole virus is used, these vaccines require extensive safety testing. Attenuated vaccines may still cause disease in people with compromised immune systems. Inactivated vaccines only induce antibody-mediated immunity. Subunit vaccines contain only part of the virus, usually a spike protein. These vaccines cannot cause disease, but they may not be seen as a threat to the immune system and therefore may not elicit the desired immune response. For this reason, certain substances, called adjuvants, are usually added to stimulate the antigen-presenting cells to pick up the vaccine. To the viral antigen. A subunit vaccine may also consist of empty virus shells without genetic material, are similar to that having a typical size and shape of a pathogen, are usually added to stimulate.
Vaccines are an effective way to protect us from diseases like COVID-19, preventing death and serious illness. Vaccines can take a long time to develop because they must undergo multiple phases of clinical trials. Researchers around the world have been working hard to develop COVID-19 vaccines from the very early stages of the pandemic. They've been able to speed up development of vaccines without compromising safety and effectiveness. Thanks to the collaboration between scientists, researchers, manufacturers and distributors, the development and implementation planning phases have been run side by side instead of one after the other. Research into how to respond to a pandemic has been ongoing long before COVID-19. This research looks at data from previous coronaviruses, such as SARS in 2002 and MERS in 2012, giving researchers a head start to build the COVID-19 vaccines. Thanks to our community maintaining COVID-safe behaviours like good hand hygiene and physical distancing, we've had more time to test vaccines for use in Australia while still keeping us safe from the virus. Our scientists are still working quickly and have been able to deliver our first vaccine, but no corners have or will be cut. In Australia, the Therapeutic Goods Administration, or the TGA, has been rigorously assessing the potential COVID-19 vaccines for safety, quality and effectiveness. They will continue to do this with the remaining vaccines before they will be approved and made available to Australians this year. Once approved, each batch must also be checked to make sure it meets the same quality standards. All these steps are important before the vaccinations begin. To learn more, visit health.gov.au.
Good afternoon, everyone. Naririnig niyo po ba ako?
Yes po. Nag-e-echo lang po.
Okay.
Echo.
Medyo maingay yung kapitbahay. Okay. We will start. So before anything else, nag-echo talaga siya ba? Okay. So before we start, let's do have our invocation.
Sakit po sa tuhod ko. Medyo na.
Okay, for that, let's start to, as we start, let's bow our head for a prayer. Okay, let us pray. Heavenly Father, dear God, thank you so much, Lord, for this day that you have gathered upon us today. May your holy presence be with us as we will install our seminar for this very day that our co-students will also learn from us. Thank you for everything. Keep us safe. In Jesus' name, amen. Nag-i-echo pa rin po.
Yes po.
If you're using two gadgets, yung laptop mo, increase mo yung volume, yung phone mo ang tanggalin mo yung volume. If you're using two gadgets, yung laptop mo which you are using for your PowerPoint presentation, increase mo yung volume. Yung phone mo, I'm sure you're using it for your camera. Yung i-load ibaan mo yung volume ng phone.
Sa cellphone, sir. Wait lang, sir. Nag-ano po siya. Ayan, sir. Naririnig.
Mahina. Parang may nagpa-play ng music.
Yan, sir. Bakit nag-ito? Ayan, sir.
Okay pa rin. Are you
Okay
using
na po
two
ba,
gadgets?
guys?
Are you using two gadgets?
Hindi, sir. Sa PC po. Hindi, sir.
Saan nagagaling yung feedback? About your phone, are you using your phone? Ayun, wala na yung feedback niya. Kaya lang, hindi ka rin naman namin marinig.
So, ayan. So, ayan. Okay na po ba? Start na tayo.
Hindi po masyadong naririnig.
Mahina yung volume mo. Ay, mahina yung boses mo, sorry.
Ayan, sir. Ayan, sir. Nag-echo talaga, sir. Nalalapit yung mic.
Can you do the reporting, Miss Jamaica?
Sir?
Pwede ikaw yung mag-report? Medyo
Pwede po.
kay Ate Vic.
Medyo
Ate, hindi ako pwedeng mag-share. Phone lang gamit ko. Wala kasi kuryente dito sa amin. Naka-data lang ako.
medcram.com. Welcome to another MedCram COVID-19 update, and we're going to be talking about the Astrazeneca vaccine in this update. But first, let's take a look at the numbers real quick. Daily new cases in the United States are at an all-time high, but it may be peaking. We don't know. We'll need to get some more data here. But if you look at the data, you can see that there has been somewhat of a slowdown in the number of cases. Of course, with deaths, they lag behind maybe a couple to 3 weeks, and the daily new deaths are increasing as well at this point. Again, we're going to have to wait for further data. So now we're going to talk about the AstraZeneca Oxford vaccine. And we're going to compare and contrast to the ones that have gone before it, like the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine and the Moderna vaccine. Now, as you will recall, the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine and the Moderna vaccine are basically new vaccines in the sense that they are injecting messenger RNA into your cells to tell the cells to produce the protein that is the same as a portion of the spike protein on the virus, and that is what generates the immune response. So in other words, we're giving instructions to the cell to make the foreign protein which causes the immune response. And that is actually very similar to the AstraZeneca Oxford vaccine, except instead of using messenger RNA, they are using DNA to do that. So once again, in terms of a picture, imagine we have the cell and we've got the nucleus. And what we were doing before was we were taking messenger RNA, and that messenger RNA was being translated by ribosomes and converted into the protein. And what we did with the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine and the Moderna vaccine is we were getting the messenger RNA into the cytoplasm of the cell. The cytoplasm is the outside portion, as opposed to the nucleus. How do we get that messenger RNA in the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine and the Moderna vaccine in? Well, we used a lipid bilayer, or a micelle as we called it, to get those fragments or that messenger RNA into the cytoplasm. And then from there, it's fairly straightforward. The cell uses its own cell machinery, which is the ribosomes, to cause translation to occur, and you make the protein in question. How this is different is AstraZeneca uses a different technique, and it uses a virus called an adenovirus, but not a human one, but a chimpanzee. Now, why would it do that? Chimpanzee adenoviruses have not really been exposed to the human population, and so it's very unlikely that humans would create an immune response against the adenovirus specifically itself. We don't want that to happen, because if that happens, then the vaccine is not going to be effective at getting its instructions into the cell. And of course, AstraZeneca knows that if this vaccine is successful and it's used on a number of people, millions, billions of people worldwide, then it's probably going to have to abandon the chimpanzee adenovirus platform for delivering instructions. Now, the adenovirus here does not use RNA like we've been talking about. It uses DNA. And DNA is a double-stranded form of instructions. Now, there's a portion there in the middle of that that is used for replication of the virus. Well, the genetic engineers simply delete that portion so the virus can no longer replicate and cause an infection in the human body. And instead, they replace that portion of the DNA with the genetic code, the instructions that the geneticists have engineered. And so what happens when you deliver this adenovirus in the vaccine, it goes into the cell and it releases the DNA into the cytoplasm. And then that gets taken up and goes into the nucleus. That DNA, according to scientists at AstraZeneca, does not get incorporated into the host's genome. It does not go into your DNA in the cell, but rather it is transcribed into RNA. And that RNA then exits the nucleus as a messenger RNA, and then exactly the same thing happens as what we saw with the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine and the Moderna vaccine, which is that the messenger RNA, which is now a product of the transcription of the DNA, gets converted into the spike protein through translation by the ribosomes, and then this goes on once again to cause the immunogenic response. Now, there's a couple of points that you should understand about the trial, the AstraZeneca and Oxford trial that's been looking at this vaccine. And let me just stress to you that the results that we have gotten here in the last few days are via press releases and not peer-reviewed articles that have been published and reviewed. So the first difference, as we talked about, is that it is a DNA virus platform. And there's been many areas that they've been doing research. And predominantly, let's take a look at two of those areas. The first one was in Brazil, and the second area that they did the trials was in the UK. Be also aware, though, that they are doing trials in the United States as well. And from the numbers, and I'm rounding these off, there's been about 9,000 people that have been enrolled in Brazil, and about 3,000 that were enrolled in the UK. Now, just like the other two vaccines that we were talking about, this is also a two-step process. So there's two injections or two vaccinations, and they're about a month apart. Now, by some error that occurred in the UK trial, they gave half a dose first, followed by a full dose. Now, in the Brazil trial, they gave a full dose like they were supposed to, followed by a full dose. And this happened approximately 28 days apart. Now, if you've listened to us when we talked about the other two vaccines, you'll know that in those two vaccines, they did the trial a little differently in terms of the fact that they waited for subjects to become symptomatic with COVID-19 symptoms before looking at the endpoint there, or a midway point, to see whether or not the vaccine was effective. Here in the AstraZeneca case, they were not doing it that way. No, in fact, they were doing swabbing and they were checking for infections. This is a huge deal because whereas with the Pfizer BioNTech vaccine candidate and also the Moderna vaccine, all we can really say about those two, even now with the results that we have, is that it is definitely effective, if what they're saying is true, at preventing the symptoms of COVID-19, at preventing the disease, at preventing the things that cause people to go to the hospital. What we don't know right now about those two vaccines is whether or not the vaccine prevents infections. And that's important because infections leads to transmission, and transmission leads to spread of the virus. Now, here with the AstraZeneca Oxford study, they actually checked for infections by doing nasal swabs. And so what we can say here is whether or not there has been a stoppage or a ceasing of transmission and therefore infections. Now, what was really interesting and kind of a head scratcher is in the Brazilian portion of this study where they gave the full dose on the first injection and the full dose on the second injection, the efficacy was only about 62%. Now, I say only because comparing it to what we know now about the other two vaccines, but 62% is not a bad result. And it certainly meets the benchmark or the threshold for getting emergency use authorization from the FDA, both here in the United States and Europe. However, the part that's kind of a head scratcher is that when they, by some serendipitous error, they injected the subjects in the UK with half a dose on the first shot and then a full dose on the second shot, this one was actually 90% effective. And that's not just for preventing COVID-19, as I said. That may also, according to the preliminary results, prevent infections from what they're telling us. And so the US trial was paused because there were some events in two subjects in the United Kingdom and one subject in Brazil that was deemed later not to be related to the vaccine, but it took them time to investigate. They have restarted the USA portion of the trial, but now they want to see if they can, in midstream, modify that to introduce some half dosing as well, combined with perhaps full dosing, to see whether or not you're going to get a similar result, either 62 or 90% or something in between. Now, the other thing that was very interesting about this is that obviously some people are getting placebos. But in not every situation are those placebos just saline or salt water. In fact, in the first injection, what they had been doing is getting a meningitis vaccine dose because they wanted to reproduce the symptoms that people got when they got an injection. Because when you get an injection with saline, it doesn't cause irritation at the site as much. It doesn't cause pain at the site as much. But a regular vaccine, which would have nothing to do with coronavirus, such as a meningitis vaccine, might do that. And so here, AstraZeneca Oxford trial is a little different than the other two in that they were giving other vaccines as a placebo. And the reason why they're doing this is to get a more realistic placebo effect so that the subjects can't tell whether they've gotten the vaccine in this case or whether they're in the placebo arm. So what are some other possible advantages? Well, with the Moderna vaccine, as we talked about, it had to be stored, if you wanted to store it for 30 days, at negative 20 degrees centigrade or negative 4 degrees Fahrenheit. And as you recall, for the Pfizer vaccine, it was even more extreme. It was at negative 70 degrees centigrade or negative 94 degrees Fahrenheit to store it for 6 months. Here, just a regular refrigerator is all that is necessary. In fact, it only needs to be stored at 2 to 8 degrees centigrade or 36 to 46 degrees Fahrenheit. So those are some advantages there. And of course, because of that, you don't need to build an infrastructure system. You just need regular refrigeration to store this vaccine. The other thing that's very interesting as well.
All right, so I think the group is ready. Open lang natin. Sure. All right, so while waiting for the power presenters, kindly introduce yourselves.
Yes, guys, sorry po sa abala, konting abala. Kami po yung first, last presenter ng group. Ako po si
While is a little different than the other two. They were giving other back.
Jamaica, continue.
Yes, guys, ako nga po ulit si Jamaica Mito Gawin, 4th year student po. Hello sa aming pa-seminar, and sana konting konting tiis pa. Ate Su.
Between, you can start now.
Ate Su.
Hello? Naririnig niyo po ba ako?
Yes po. Yes po. Naririnig po.
Between, you can start now.
Hello, Sir Prince?
Hello, you can start now. Ikaw na lang inaantay namin. Between, ikaw na lang inaantay namin.
Hello? Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Just give me a response if naririnig niyo ba ako?
Oo, naririnig ka namin, Between. Kanina pa, naririnig ka na.
Okay. Start na po tayo. Sobrang sorry po talaga sa error. Pinaghandaan po. Pero hindi talaga inaasahan na ganito ang mangyayari. So, sorry po talaga. Ang lakas pa ng ulan dito sa amin, guys. Hello? Okay. Start na ako, guys, ha? Sorry talaga. Okay. Number 1, let's explore regarding our understanding about this COVID-19. So, okay, next, sir.
Alam mo, kilala mo yung
Next slide po, sir. Next na po. Okay, I am between Monteverde. Ako sa BSN 4. So, I am the speaker again. So, now, stay safe. We need to stay safe because of this pandemic nowadays. This is the government is implementing more on the vaccines, and now we are talking about the vaccine. So first, we will tackle the vaccine. We will just go back to what this vaccine started. Okay? Ano lang tayo? Overview ng COVID-19. Next, sir. Overview lang po tayo regarding this COVID-19 vaccine. This COVID vaccine is, COVID-19 disease caused by a novel or this new coronavirus that has not previously been in humans, because it is new. The people who have COVID-19, they have mild, severe symptoms, okay? And these people around the world, as of the census of COVID-19 rates, so in the Philippines, a total of 925K. So that is the death of April 29. Okay, next, sir. Next po, sir. So this incubation period, the time between the infected showing, we have this so-called 14 days quarantine, because these symptoms can be appeared within 14 days. The average time. So, within 5 days, lalabas na daw yung symptoms. So, about 80% of the patients that causes this COVID-19 are mild asymptomatic or they have just nothing in return, that just only a mild sequence of a symptom. Next, sir. Next po, sir. Ulan po sa amin. Sorry, guys. Okay, the diagnosis and test. The COVID-19 diagnosis with laboratory test. So this is, for example, first you have to take the saliva test or swab test from nose to throat. So first, to determine this one is you call your healthcare provider. Then if you feel sick, fever, cough, or have any difficulties in breathing, you have close contact with the person known as suspected to have COVID-19, your healthcare provider will ask you questions about the symptoms, and then this healthcare provider will tell you what to do. If you will be tested with COVID-19, like swab, isolate, according to your symptoms appeared, then you have not fever for 20 hours. Only one drug has severe that is approved to treat the hospitalized. Next, sir. Next slide. Hello? Next slide na po, sir. Next slide po, sir. Slide na po, sir. Okay, so now we're talking way back 2020 implemented, or they made this the live attenuated vaccine. These vaccines contains with the living version of a virus or bacteria. And number two, the inactivated vaccine contains inactivated or the dead version of virus. Number three, subunit vaccines contains only parts of the virus or bacteria of the whole pathogen. The conjugated or the mRNA vector is uses of the cell of its own to produce antigen. Okay, next. This is the type, how it works, the virus or the vaccine. First, this DNA and RNA, how it works, this vaccine uses DNA or RNA molecules to teach the immune system to target the viral proteins. Next, their advantages. So these advantages of this one is it is easy and quick to design. The disadvantages is never been done before, so they're just experimenting this one. And the existing is not and this group test is the Moderna or they're using the RNA. This live attenuated vaccine, so how it works, it weakens the immune system or the version of the actual virus. The disadvantage is stimulates a robust and then a robust immune response without causing a serious disease. Then the disadvantages is it may not be safe for those with a compromised immune system. Next is the measles, mumps, and rubella, or the chicken pox. These are the existing examples of the live attenuated vaccine. And the group of these one are the following: the Cognivax, and then it may be safe for those with compromised immune system. Then next is inactivated. This vaccine uses the whole virus, and after it has killed with heat and chemical. So the advantage is safe because the virus already is dead and it's easy to make. The disadvantages is not as effective as live because some of the previous inactivated the novel corona needs and shown the clinical trials. For example, the Cyanobac and the Sinopharm. Okay, and the existing example is the polio vaccine. Next vaccine is a piece of a virus, a surface to focus on your immune system on a they will target this single cell immune system. Then it's important part of the virus for protection and cannot cause any I it may not stimulate a strong response or other chemical may need to be added to boost long-term immunity. So for example, po nito, yung pertussis, hepatitis B, at saka HPV na mga vaccine. So, dito sa COVID-19 naman, ang gumagamit yung subunit is yung Novavax at AdaptVac. Next is the viral vector. This viral vector, this approaches takes harmless immunity. Then, this like viruses tend to elicit stronger immune response than dead viruses or subunit vaccines. And the important the disadvantage is important to pick a viral vector that is truly safe, and immune response to the viral vector would make the vaccine less and effective. So the example, the existing example of this vaccine is the Ebola and the veterinary medicine. And for the COVID-19 group, they are testing it, Biologics and the Johnson and Johnson. Okay, next. Next po, sir. Next slide po. Next slide po.
Yes, hello guys. Ako nga po ulit si Jamaica Miko Gawin, fourth year student. Tutuloy ko po muna kasi si Ate Zu is may problem siya about sa kasi umuulan sa kanila. So, i-report ko muna is about possible side effects of a COVID-19 vaccines. Nga pala, naririnig niyo po bala ako?
Opo, ate.
Yes
So,
po.
yun. Pasensya na masyadong So, possible side effects of COVID-19 vaccines can cause mild side effect after the first or second dose, including pain, redness, or swelling where the shot was given. Kung nasaan binigay yung vaccine na first or second dose. Or meron din tayong fever, fatigue, headache, muscle pain, chills, joint pain, nausea and vomiting, feeling unwell, and swollen lymph nodes. So, itong mga side effects na to, pwede nating maramdaman sa unang dose pa lang na kanilang binigay or yung unang shots na kanilang binigay or yung pangalawa. Next, sir. So, kung meron na tayong nararamdaman na ganun, saan tayo unang-unang pupunta? Of course, doon sa kung saan tayo na vaksinan or kung pwede din tayo sa may munisipyo or kung dun sa may RH unit natin. So next is vaccine recipient or rollout. Yung mga priority na bibigyan ng vaccines. So ang unang-una of course is ang ating health workers or ang ating frontliners. Pangalawa is yung people age 80 or more and institutionalized elderly. Yung 80 pataas. Then pangatlo is yung asensya maingay. Pangatlo is yung adults age 65 to 79 years old, yung mga medyo slight senior citizen. Then pang-apat, people with comorbidities. Comorbidities is yung may mga sakit. Then pang-lima, institutionalized people and at risk of social exclusion. Yun yung mga nasa prisons or refuge centers or migrants. Then pang-anim is yung essential workers. Yun yung mga tricycle drivers or may mga transportations na katulad ng bus, ganun-ganun yung mga ng mga sasakyan. Then ang pang-pito is yung over 55 years old. Then ang last is yung pangkalahatan na, yung gustong magpa-vaccine. Kasi guys, ang vaccine is hindi naman siya hindi kanila pipilitin dito sa atin. Then when can I get a COVID-19 vaccines? So ang phase 1 is meron tayong phase 3. Ang phase 1 is yung clinical and non-clinical healthcare workers doing direct and COVID with patients o ng mga mga nakasama ng mga may possible COVID case. Then next is long-term care facilities. Rest homes and assisted living facilities. Or next is yung police. Yung mga police or fire and emergency medical services natin. Then, congregate care settings, including corrections and shelters. Home-based healthcare workers and healthcare workers doing non-COVID facing care. So, yun yung phase 1 natin. So, ang phase 2 is yung individuals with 2 more comorbidities. Yung comorbidities, yung may dalawang or medical conditions. So next is yung may example ng individuals is yung mga high risk for COVID-19 complications. The next is early education or K-12 transit, grocery, utility, food and agriculture, sanitation, public works, and public health workers. Yung mga nagtitinda sa mga groceries, yung mga nagbiyahe ng mga foods, yung mga ganun. Then, yung adult 65 pataas. Then, next is yung individuals with one comorbidity. So, ang phase natin, malahatan na siya. Yung sino yung may gusto. Next, sir. Pasensya na, cellphone lang kasi gamit ko, brownout dito. So, COVID-19 patient education tayo. Medyo ano lang to. So, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, or CDC, 2020 recommends the following everyday actions to help deter the spread of all respiratory viruses. So, unang-una, kailangan nating maghugas ng kamay. Kung wala tayong sabon, pwede naman yung alcohol hand sanitizer within 20 seconds. So, for sure, lahat tayo dito is mga nursing students, di ba? Alam na natin kung paano yung tamang proseso ng paghugas ng kamay. Then, pangalawa is avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth with unwashed hands. So, bawal nating hawakan ang mga parte na yan kapag humawak tayo ng hindi pa naghuhugas. Then, avoid close contact with people who are sick. So, bawal din tayong, or hindi naman sa bawal, pero avoid lang natin sila, or syempre kung may pamilya ka na may sakit, di ba? So, avoid lang natin sila, or kung may mga sakit man sila, kailangan nating maghugas kung nahawakan natin sila. Di ba? Then, stay at home when you are sick. Yun yung pinaka-importante. Huwag ka nang lalabas sa bahay kung alam mong may cough ka or fever. Kasi, alam mo na makakahawa ka ng sakit. Then, next is cover your cough or sneeze with a tissue. Then, throw the tissue in the trash. Of course naman, alam na natin to, guys. Kapag nag-ano tayo is kailangan nating itapon yung tissuehan natin, or kung panyo naman kailangan nating ilagay dun sa may basa, sa may anuhan na lang natin. So next is clean and disinfect frequently touch objects and surfaces. So ito, ang example ko dito is, guys, yung sino sa atin ang naglalasada or nagsa-Shopee? Di ba halos lahat na? So, ano yung una nating ginagawa kapag nasa Shopee tayo or naglalasada? So, dapat disinfect muna natin siya. Or, ang ginagawa ko kasi, disinfect ko muna siya, then iniiwan ko sa labas ng bahay for how many hours lang naman. So, anyone who may have been exposed to COVID-19 should contact their healthcare provider immediately. Siyempre talaga ito ang pinaka-importante. Kailangan, kung may mga nararamdaman ka na ng symptoms, kailangan mo nang pumunta or kailangan mo tumawag ng, or pwede ka naman tumawag sa 911 or 11, ano ba yun? So yung 911. Or pwede din, kung may contact ka sa healthcare natin, pwede din naman, or sa mga barangay officials para sila na yung sa RHU. Next, sir. Ano nyo pa ba ako, guys? May mga tanong po kayo. Ate Sue. Sa short na natin. Wala. Next, sir. Meron pa po. What are the benefits of getting COVID-19 vaccine? So, meron ito yung mga benefits ng vaccine nila sa atin. So, a COVID-19 vaccine might prevent you from getting COVID-19 or from becoming seriously ill or dying due to COVID-19. Sabi nga doon, hindi naman as in 100% na magiging prevent ka for dying or becoming magkakaroon ka ng COVID-19. Ito lang is yung parang prevent lang, medyo ano lang siya. Para hindi ka hindi agad-agad makapitan, parang ganun. So next is prevent you from spreading the COVID-19 virus to others. And next, add to the number of people in the community who are protected from getting COVID-19, making it harder for the disease to spread and contributing to herd immunity. Prevent the COVID-19 virus from spreading and replicating, which allows it to mutate and possibly become more resistant to vaccines. So ito lang yung mga benefits ng pagkakaroon natin ng vaccines. So dapat syempre dapat naman kailangan natin kumpletuhin yung 2 dose. Hindi naman pwedeng isa lang. Kung nakapag-isa ka na, ay tama na to. Di ba? So kailangan natin ng 2 dose. Next, sir. So Johnson or Johnson and Johnson COVID-19 vaccines. Ano nga ba si Johnson or Johnson COVID-19 vaccines? Use of the Johnson or Johnson and Johnson COVID-19 vaccines might increase the risk of a rare and serious blood clotting disorder. Nearly all those affected have been women ages 18 to 49, with that disorder happening at rate of 7 for every 1 million vaccinated women in this age group. For women aged 50 and older and men of all ages, the disorder is even more rare. The Food and Drug Administration and the Centers for Disease Control and this procedure have recommended that use of the vaccine in the US can continue because the benefits outweigh the risk if you are given this vaccine. You should be educated about the possible risks and symptoms of a blood clotting problem. So bago daw nila ibibigay si Johnson or Johnson and Johnson COVID-19 is kailangan muna nilang educate yung kanilang vaksinan. Siyempre lalo na daw mga ages, may ages na yung kanilang ibabaksin. So kailangan mo na lang educate ng kung ano yung mga possible risks and kung ano yung magiging symptoms niya. Lalo na kapag may blood clotting problem. Next, sir. What are the symptoms of a blood clotting reaction due to the Johnson & Johnson COVID-19 vaccine? Serious side effect of the Johnson & Johnson COVID-19 vaccine can occur within the 3 weeks of vaccination and require emergency care. Possible symptoms include shortness of breath, persistent stomach pain, severe or persistent headaches or blurred vision, chest pain, legs swelling, and easily bruising or tiny red spots on the skin behind the injection site. Mild to moderate headaches and muscle aches are common in the first 3 days after vaccination and would require emergency care. So, kung 3 araw pa lang is masakit, may mga mild headache and muscle aches ka na dun sa site ng injection, is normal lang daw yon. So, hindi pa kailangan na require emergency care. So, ang mas priority nila is kapag nasa within 3 weeks na siya. Kapag nag-occur na within 3 weeks. So, kailangan na ng emergency care kapag may mga nararamdaman ka na dyan kapag binigay si Johnson or Johnson COVID-19 vaccines. Yan pa ba kayo, guys? Next, sir. Can I still get COVID-19 after I am vaccinated? So, ito yung sinasabi ko kanina. COVID-19 vaccination will protect most people from getting sick with COVID-19. A very small percentage of fully vaccinated people will still get COVID-19 if they are exposed to the COVID-19 virus. These are called vaccine breakthrough cases. Some people might not experience any symptoms and some people could become sick due to COVID-19. However, vaccination might make illness less severe. If you are fully vaccinated, the overall risk of hospitalization and death due to COVID-19 is much lower than among unvaccinated people with similar risk factors. So, sabi ko kanina na hindi totally na protect yung vaccine through vaccine nga. Ang kailangan pa rin natin siya ng care. Kailangan pa rin natin ng mag-stay home kahit meron ka ng vaccine. Kasi sabi dito, hindi people will still get COVID-19 kung na-expose ka sa may COVID-19 syempre. So kailangan pa rin nating mag-ingat. Hindi porke may vaccine ka na is kailangan mo nang gumala. Ay, dati may vaccine na ako. May vaccine na ako. Pwede na akong gumala kahit saan ko gusto, di ba? Hindi naman pwedeng ganun, guys. So, mag-stay at home pa rin tayo kahit may vaccine na tayo and always protect ourselves. Di ba po? Next. Signs of unallergic reaction to COVID-19 vaccines. So ano nga ba yung mga allergic reaction? You might be having an allergic reaction to COVID-19 vaccines if you experience these signs with 4 hours of your first vaccine dose. So continuous shortness of breath or wheezing, swelling of the lips, eyes or tongue, redness, swelling or itchiness in areas of the body other than the limb in which the vaccine was given. So anong gagawin natin guys kapag nakaramdam tayo ng ganito within 4 hours daw? So kailangan nating sabihin, kasi guys kapag nandun ka naman sa nagbabaksinan, ano ka pa nila doon ka muna within how many hours? Doon sa mag-stay ka muna doon sa nagbaksinan mo. Hindi ka muna nila pauuwiin ng ilang oras. So, kung naanuhan mo na to sa katawan mo, kung alam mo nang meron ka nang nararamdaman, sabihin mo doon sa nagbaksinan mo kasi hindi ka pa naman papauwiin within ilang oras doon. Mag-stay ka muna doon. So, next, sir.
May bubble gum.
So, yun lang guys. Thank you for listening. Any question po? Itutuloy na Ate Zu mamaya kapag okay na. Ate Zu, okay ka na ba? Wala ka na lang magtutuloy. Ate Zu. Kasi yung mga questions namin may price. Gusto niya ba guys? 100 pesos per question. 5 yon. Sa slides niya kasi puro yun yung questions. Wala sa akin. Hello guys. Naririnig niyo ba ako?
Opo. Yes.
Sir, pwedeng paulit nung slide niya ate. Ako na lang. Kahit dun lang sa may start niya. Kahit hindi ko kabisado. Go ko na lang. Pasensya na guys.
Okay lang po.
Ano ba yun, sir? So, ako na lang yung mag-ano kay yung kwan ni ate, hindi ko kabisado, ikakan ko na lang to. So, exploring and understanding the COVID-19 vaccines. Next, sir. Doon na po sa may sa may...
Hello? Hello?
Hello, ate. Okay ka na?
Hello?
Nag-ano ka pa rin, ate? Sige, ako na lang.
Hello? Hello?
Yes, we can hear you, Ate Between.
So, sige na, i-go na tayo, guys. COVID-19. COVID-19 is a new disease caused by a novel or new coronavirus that has not previously been seen in humans. Because it is a new virus, scientists are learning more each day, although most people who have COVID-19 have mild symptoms. COVID-19 can also cause severe illness and even death. Some groups, including older adults and people who have certain underlying medical conditions, are at increased risk of severe illness. COVID-19 is a disease caused by a new strain of coronavirus, or CO stands for corona, VI for virus, and D for disease. Formerly, this disease was referred to as 2019 novel coronavirus or 2019 nCoV. So kailan lang to no guys, nag 1 year anniversary na siya noong February. Buti pa siya nag-anniversary. So how many people are infected with COVID-19? So sa 129 million people in the world have been infected. Over 2,800,000 people have died. So dami na. Some 192 countries and territories on all continents except Antarctica have now reported cases of COVID-19. The US has the highest number of cases with more than 30,500,000 people infected and over 550,000 deaths. Wow. Brazil has more than 12,700,000 cases and 320,000 deaths. India has over 12,200,000 cases. France has over 4,700,000 cases. Russia and England have over 4,300,000 cases. Italy has more than 3,600,000. Turkey has over 3,300,000 cases. Spain has over 3,200,000 cases. Germany has more than 2,800,000 cases. Colombia has 2,400,000 cases. Poland and Argentina have over 2,300,000 and Mexico has over 2,200,000 cases. Oh my God. God. Ang dami na guys. How about dito sa atin is total cases of 1,100,000. So ang naka-recovered na is 925,000. So ang namatay na sa atin dito sa Pilipinas is 16,916. Oh, shucks. 1 year lang yun, guys. Ang dami nang namatay. As of April 29, 2021 yun, guys. So, ang source namin is WHO Organization Situation Report and Johns Hopkins Coronavirus Resource Center map. So, ito ay updated hanggang April 29. So, anong date pa lang ngayon, guys? 16,916 ang namamatay. Next, sir. So, kailangan talaga nating mag-stay safe. So, overview, the so-called incubation period, the time between becoming infected and showing symptoms can range from 2 to 14 days. The average time before experiencing symptoms is 5 days. Symptoms can range in severity from very mild to severe. In about 80% of patients, COVID-19 causes only mild symptoms. So, meron tayong tinatawag dito sa atin na quarantine. So, di ba yung quarantine natin, guys, is 14 days. Kasi hindi naman basta-basta na kikita ng mga frontliners natin kung meron na silang symptoms. So, dun sa 14 days na yon, mag-a-appear pa lang within 5 days. Next, sir. So, diagnosis and test. COVID-19 is diagnosed with a laboratory test. Your healthcare provider may collect a sample of your saliva or swab your nose or throat to send for testing. Ito yung tinatawag nilang swab test. Pinakaano dito is mga kawawa dito is mga OFW natin, naririnig ko is every week ata sila nagsa-swab test. Call your healthcare provider if you feel sick with fever or call your healthcare provider if you feel sick with fever, cough, or have difficulty breathing. Have been in close contact with a person known or suspected to have COVID-19. Then your healthcare provider will ask you questions about your symptoms. Your healthcare provider will tell you if you need to be tested for the novel coronavirus, COVID-19, and where to go to be tested. So ito nasasabi nating yun nga yung swab test. Kailangan nila ng saliva galing sa'yo kung meron kang COVID-19. So next, sir. So isolation according to current CDC recommendation, you should self-isolate until you've met all 3 of the following criteria. So una, it's been 10 days since your symptoms first appeared. So, 10 days pa lang nag-a-appear na yung first symptoms mo. So, ang makalawa is you've not had a fever for 24 hours and you've not used lowering medications during this time. So, kailangan hindi ka magkakaroon ng lagnat, magdamag. Pangatlo is your COVID-19 symptoms have improved. So, ito yung kailangan nilang criteria habang nasa facilities ka. Kung okay na to, papauwiin ka na nila. So, next, sir. Management and treatment. Currently, only one drug has received Food and Drug Administration approval. The Remdesivir or Vaccination is approved to treat hospitalized patient with the COVID-19 infections. So yung Remdesivir lang daw muna ang na-receive ng Food and Drug Administration ng approval na na-approve through hospitalization na nasa hospitalized na patients. Next, sir. Remdesivir, Vaccination. Tama ba ako ng pronunciation? Types of vaccine. Ang una is live attenuated vaccine or may contain a weakened version of a living virus or bacteria. Makalawa is inactivated vaccine. Contain an inactivated or dead version of virus or bacteria. Makatlo is sub-unit vaccine. Contain only parts of a virus or bacteria instead of the whole pathogen. Makaapat is yung Okay, sorry sir. Live pala yun. Live attenuated. So may kaapat is conjugate and toxoid vaccine, specialized to deal with conjugate type of bacteria and toxins. Makalima is mRNA and vector-based vaccine, uses your cell's own machinery to produce antigen. So ito yung mga types ng vaccine natin. So next sir. Types of coronavirus vaccines approaches. So ito yung may mga types ng coronavirus vaccine. So DNA and RNA, the live attenuated, the inactivated, the subunit, and the viral vector. So how it works? Sa DNA and RNA, this vaccine uses DNA or RNA molecules to teach the immune system to target key viral proteins. So, yung live, sorry guys, may kuwan sa kalsada kasi ako. So, sa live attenuated naman, this is a weakened versions of the actual virus. Sa inactivated, an inactivated vaccine uses the whole virus after it has been killed with heat or chemicals. Sa subunit, this vaccine uses a piece of a virus surfaces to focus your immune system on a single target. Sa viral vector, this approach takes a harmless virus and uses it to deliver viral genes to build immunity. So, ang advantages nila is sa DNA and RNA, easy and quick to design. So, yung live attenuated naman is stimulate the robust immune response without causing serious disease. And activated, safe because the virus is already dead and easy to make. So, subunit focuses the immune response on the most important part of the virus for protection and cannot cause infection. Sa viral vector, live viruses tend to elicit stronger immune responses than dead viruses or subunit vaccines. So yung mga disadvantage naman nila sa DNA and RNA, never been done before. There are no licensed DNA or RNA vaccines currently in use. Sa live attendant natin, may not be safe for those with compromised immune system. So sa inactivated, ang kanyang disadvantage naman is not as effective as the live virus. Some previous inactivated vaccines have made the disease worse or safety for the novel. Coronavirus needs to be shown in clinic. This may not stimulate to strong response or other chemicals may need to be added to long-term immunity. So sa viral vector, important to pick a viral vector that is truly safe. An immune response to the viral vector could make the vaccine less effective. So existing samples natin sa DNA is wala. Sa live attendant natin is measles, mumps, and rubella or chickenpox. Ito yung may mga examples ng existing. Sa na-affected naman is polio. Napapansin nyo ba guys yung existing examples ng mga ito is ito yung mga binibigay nila nung na vaccines nung ang napapansin ko is more on sa bata nung pinanganak hanggang mag 1 year old, di ba? Ito yung mga yung hepatitis B, yung HPV, Ebola, veterinary, yung measles, mumps, yung ganon. So, group testing, this approach for COVID-19 is yung DNA natin is modern RNA Inovio. DNA. So sa live attenuated naman is codagenics or Indian immunologicals. Sa inactivated naman is Cyanobac and Sinopharm. Then sa subunit is Novavax and Adapvac. Ito yung klase ng vaccines na binibigay nila, guys. So yung viral vector is University of Oxford and AstraZeneca, CanSino Biologics, and Johnson & Johnson vaccines. So ito yung parts na yung kung ano yung vaccine na ibibigay or yung klase ng vaccine na ibibigay. So di ba example is yung Cyanobac, ganun. Next, sir. Yung unang sample ng vaccine, yung BioNTech v. Pfizer. BioNTech or Pfizer encapsulated mRNA vaccine. Ito yung encoding for the spike protein is protected in a lipid nanoparticles like soap bubbles. Once absorbed, the cell expresses the spike protein, resulting in an immune response. Ang efficiency niya is, yes, ate.
Sige, ako na po.
Sige, ate, tuloy mo. Okay ka na?
Opo, nag-change ako ng ano. Okay, sige. So, the BioNTech po, this is a vaccine from Pfizer. So, this BioNTech, the manufacturer is named, the research name is BNT 162B2. And the administration via intramuscular, and the vaccine type is RNA. And this is not recommended for pregnant women and then children under 16 years, and also with allergic to vaccine. So this BioNTech Pfizer, the efficacy of the US and UK strain is 95%. And this RMA encoding for the spike protein that is protected on nanoparticles. They are using the nanoparticles. So this December 11, 2020, the US Food and Drug, or the DFA in the USA, they first issued this EUA, or this emergency to use authorization. So the only FDA is the only agency who gave this authorization to the Pfizer, even if nag-ano pa sila, ongoing pa ang study, pero binibigyan sila ng this authorization para magbigay na ng vaccine through these emergency situations like this pandemic. So the refrigerator time, or the storage is less than 70 degrees Celsius within 6 months, and then 5 days for only 8 degrees Celsius. And the common side effect for this BioNTech Pfizer is you can feel the pain in the injection site, the tiredness, the headache, the muscle pain, and the chills, and joint pain, fever, and mas grabe yung effect daw sa second dose. So ang ibibigay lang na dose nito is 0.3 ml in 2 doses, and then they have these 21 days apart. So how to prepare? Do not shake the vial. So if the color is white to white off, if this color is iba na yung color niya, so do not give this vaccine. So how to administer? Again, you assess or you screen, then bring the dose, ensure the staff has correct PPE, administer through IM, observe adverse reaction within, meron na siyang adverse reaction, makikita mo, pag binigay na siya within 30 to 15 minutes. Yung mga, ano lang, yung mga mild or hindi masyadong ano yung kanilang immune system. So within 15 minutes, pwede na silang umuwi. This is the observation period. So next is the Moderna.
Uy,
Hello, Sir Prince. Next na po. Moderna. Okay, this Moderna, this came from the US. So US ang manufacturer po nila. Yung research name is mRNA-1273. The vaccine type is RNA din yung ginamit nila na vaccine type. And the administration, it is through deltoid, the intramuscular. Then it is given also 2 shots. So recommended for 18 years old and above. So the given doses is 0.5 ml, and these are the 28 days apart. So yung storage niya less than 20 degrees Celsius in 6 months. So the allergic reaction, yung may mga nag-treated ng epinephrine, so hindi sila pwedeng bibigyan. Or yung mga severe allergic reaction with PEG or this polyethylene glycol. And then yung binigyan na ng first dose, tapos nag-allergy sila, hindi na sila pwede ulit bibigyan ng vaccine. And then yung immediate niya na na allergic reaction is yung pain on the site, swelling, and yung patient daw is magsisneeze. So ang ginagamit nito is replicate din. Yung mRNA na vaccine is yung messenger RNA, dito siya susunod sa human cells. Okay? And then gagawa siya ng spike to mutate doon sa loob ng cells. Yung possible side effect niya, ganun din, mayroong headache, muscle pain, chills, fever, and nausea. So, yung benefits naman ng Moderna is it is safe and effective. COVID-19, yun yung sabi nila. And then helps you from getting seriously ill and reduce severe spread of the virus and safer way to build protein protection. And then known as, it is built also that we can have our immunity. So, pwede din siya sa mga breastfeeding women. Pwede din siya sa breastfeeding women na, and at saka recommended din siya sa mga pregnant women. And hindi pwedeng mag-exceed ng 42 days po yung ano niya. Halimbawa, 28 days lang naman yung apart. If lalagpas pa siya, hindi na po pwede siya sa Moderna po. So next is Oxford Astrazeneca. This Oxford Astrazeneca is only given as per research now. The research name is AZD1222. So it was given, this Oxford Astrazeneca also given EUE or the authorization from the FA. So this reflects they have only 1 dose in the new research as I have studied, but it posted here 2 doses, but in the new study, they only got 1 shot, only 1 shot for Oxford AstraZeneca, or I mean, 2 doses in 12 days apart only. So, 82% ng UK at saka US strain, and then 10% sa itong B1.351 SA strain, yung efficacy niya. So, they're using this viral vector po, and recommended for 18 years old, healthcare workers, and then after ng healthcare workers is na yung mga older people with also yung mga may comorbidities. So, ang dosage
dose niya is 0.5 ml. Ang interval is 8 to 12 days. So, mag-undergo ng review pa rin itong AstraZeneca sa European Medicines Agency. Next is the Johnson & Johnson. So this Johnson & Johnson, they are using the viral vector, the same. So, ito pala yung sinasabi kong isang dose lang ang Johnson & Johnson. Nag-encoding din ang pharmaceutical ng Johnson & Johnson, they decided only one dose. It's because, meron dito from Joel Dabdar, the immunologist, sabi niya, yung immune system, the immune system itself in general is a learning machine. So ito daw, if once na parang meet and greet na nila, nagme-meet and greet na yung isang particle, later on, yung B cells or yung WBC, ito yung magiging parang tatandaan niya na next time, siya yung gagawa ng immune system, yung mga pathogens na pupunta sa kanya, mariremember niya with the help of the helper T cells. So itong helper T cells, siya yung magpa-fight or siya yung killer cells. So pag once na, sabi ni Dr. Joel, sabi niya yung immunologist, sabi niya pag once na isa lang dose ang kailangan ng Johnson & Johnson, it's because pag na-detect na niya, alam na niya sa susunod na ito na yung virus na ang galing sa akin, kilala ko na to, so magbe-build na ng immunity yung katawan natin at saka alam na niya kung paano i-kill yung bacteria. So hindi na siya further on yung virus or yung immunity natin is magiging actively working para to modify yung future na attack ng isang virus. So, yung Johnson & Johnson, phase 3 clinical trials pa sila. Ito pa dito sa 85% nag-ano na sila ng moderate severe COVID cases na na-treat na nila. And then yung 72, yung mga adults 65 and above. And then yung vaccine can adequately teach our immune system to recognize yung future infection. For example, dito na naman talaga nanggagaling yung COVID. Dito siya nag-start sa SARS-CoV or then nagiging SARS-CoV-2. Ang kanyang ibuboost lang niya yung immune system mo at saka no need na daw ng dosing ang second dose. Kasi yung second dose is for booster lang naman pag maglo-long last lang yung efficacy ng isang vaccine. So, yun din sabi nila, yung adenovirus, siya yung adenovirus yung nilagay nila. Tapos, ito yung magiging information system na mag-a-attack ng virus later on in the future. So next is the Novavax. This Novavax also came from the USA. So still, yung Novavax, under pa siya sa trials pa din. So yung efficacy niya, 89% sa US and UK strain. And then yung dosage niya is dalawa. Yung 21 days apart nila. And then, nag-drop ito sa South Africa ng 60% efficacy. Kasi maraming, nung sa study nilang first phase, hindi naging successful. So, meron silang ginawang 15K volunteers with this UK strain. 95% ang efficacy na. So, yung original, from 15K, nagiging with total overall is 89.3% na yung efficacy nila. So medyo nag-okay na siya from 60. Because based on the study, hindi pa masyadong itong Novavax. Then, this scientists suspect na merong multiple mutation yung variant ng itong B1.351 SA strain. So, meron siyang multiple mutation. Kaya, yung efficacy muna niya as of now is 49% and under ongoing pa rin yung study nila. And then 3 months lang yung storage system ng vial na to, yung Novavax. So this vaccine type uses synthetic coronavirus spike protein para ma-teach niya yung immune system natin to produce antibodies that can deactivate this coronavirus if na i-expose na tayo. So this teaches, i-recognize din niya yung SARS-CoV para in the future, alam na, ito yung mga vaccines natin is nire-recognize lang kaya minsan masasabi, ay hindi naman effective yung vaccine. Ganito naman yung vaccine, maraming side effect. Ganyan naman talaga yung mga vaccines. They have all side effects. It's because, especially yung live attenuated, buhay yun na na virus na ginagawang vaccine. So, yun yung mas maraming effect sa katawan natin. And this one, they do not take pain. Advice po ng mga experts is do not take pain medication kasi yung iba umiinom na sila ng pain medication before administering this vaccine kasi daw para lesser na yung effect kasi iinom na ako ng mga ibuprofen na mga gamot. So para less daw, pero advice ng expert hindi daw dapat mag-inom para malaman mo kung ano yung other adverse effect pa ng vaccines. Okay, next is the Gamalaya Sputnik V. Hello, sir. Next slide. Okay, this Gamalaya Sputnik V from Russia. Okay, the manufacturer is the Gamalaya Research Institute, and the research name is GamCovid-Vac. Okay, and they're using this non-replicating viral vector. So ito pa rin yung viral vector and administering pa rin through IM. So ang efficacy niya is 91% sa UK at saka US strain. And 0 pa, based sa kanilang study, ito yung strain ng B1.351. So the dosing is 0.5 ml for 2 days dosage and 28 days apart. And storage nila is hanggang 3 months lang. Yung sa mga nila. So the study published in 2020 and also they have given this authorization to approve sila ng Food and Drug. Binigyan din sila ng authorization. So if 1 dose ng Sputnik is makakuha ka daw ng 79.4 efficacy. Pag double dose na, yan yung booster niya, it will make us long or i-invade niya yung cell within dalawang strands ng DNA ang ginamit nila ang tinawag nila is AD26 and AD25. Okay? Kasi ito yung tinatawag na AD is adenovirus. Ito yung nilalagay sa vaccine. So this adenovirus is pag nag-i-invade daw siya sa cell mo, magre-replicate siya. So dodoble siya, magiging 26 and 25. So gagawa din siya ng DNA niya and then at the same time, same reaction, same efficacy. After that, yung magiging niya is swell, pain, and then if ever meron talagang maghirapan ka ng huminga, advice to call the 911 or any emergency responses. So next is the Sinopharm. Next is the Sinopharm. Hello? Okay, the Sinopharm is inactivated virus vaccine. It also, the efficacy is 79% of the UK strain. The dosage, 2 dosage, 3 weeks apart. So, meron, ginamit na ito dito sa UAE, sa Pakistan, and then sa Hungary. So, stored in 2 to 8 degrees Celsius. And isa pa sad, pwede rin siyang easy storage requirement lang itong Sinopharm. And highly suitable for low resource setting. So, yung mga, hindi siya masyadong pag sa storage system. And this Sinopharm, ito rin yung in-inject sa ating Pangulo na si Duterte, pero hindi pa siya approved dito sa Philippines, kaya binati ko siya nito bakit itong Sinopharm, yung niya. Sabi niya, ito yung advisable na gagamitin niya as vaccine ng kanyang doktor. But hindi pa itong Sinopharm binibigyan ng authorization from Food and Drug, this Sinopharm. Pero sabi nila less lang talaga daw yung adverse reaction. And this Sinopharm came from China. This is the manufacturer is China. Okay, next is the Cyanobac. This Cyanobac is inactivated virus vaccine. Manufacturer or the research name is CoronaVac. So this is the research name CoronaVac. Ang ginagamit na type ng vaccine is inactivated. And then IM pa rin ito siya. So meron siyang 2 doses. Ang efficacy lang niya, konti lang yung efficacy niya dito, 50%. And usually ito na yung ginagamit dito sa Philippines. More on thousands of people na ang naanuhan ito ng mga frontliners. And based dito siya sa Beijing. Sa Beijing yung pinaka-base na biopharmaceutical niya. This triggered to begin making this protein. So ito yung nagtitrain, ang Sinovac ang nagtitrain ng immune system natin to attack. So tinitrain ng Sinovac vaccine itong immune system natin pag-inject niya para later on, the same as with other vaccines, they remember, or these helper T cells, they remember, and then these B cells, sila yung gagawa ng magiging strong yung WBC natin. Okay? And then, this new vaccine, wala pa namang current study, the same with other vaccines, na meron siyang mga nagiging side effect nito na kagaya nung sabi nung sa Johnson & Johnson nga na merong mga blood clots, ganon. Etong si Sinovac, wala pa naman as of now. And then, this is also approved for emergency use. Binigyan siya ng FDA ng authorization to give to the public. And pwede siyang gamitin sa high-risk groups sa China. Ginamit na nila nito since July pa. So this Mr. Yen, she tests 1,000 volunteers. Ano lang, ang mga symptoms nila, mga minor fatigues, and no more than 5% lang naman sa 100,000 volunteers ng Sinovac. So, ang ginagamit ng Sinovac works by using killed viral particles para ma-expose siya sa body ng ating immune system and then to the virus without risking a serious disease response. Pag-inject niya sa atin, hindi siya parang wala siyang serious na reaction sa katawan. And then, ginagamit na siya sa Singapore, Malaysia, since January 2021. So, meron na siyang, nagpo-produce sila ng 30 million per year na mga vaccines, na vials. Or, meron silang 20,000 square meters na production plant. And, nagpa-vaccine na din pala ako ng Cyanobac so far kahapon. Yung reactions lang naman ng katawan ko is pain on the site, and then LBM lang ako. Yung ibang mga kasamahan ko, daw sila, masakit yung ulo, but tolerable naman din. And ang nangyari is within 24 hours, sabi ng doktor na lang din siya, normal yung lalabas na mga reaction. Kasi dito sa amin sa Davao, merong inuna lahat ng mga frontliners, kasali kami doon, meron kaming nag-submit din kami para ma-protect din kami kasi nag-duty kami as private duty nurses. So next is the Bharat Biotech. Hello, sir. Okay. This Bharat Biotech, dito siya nanggaling sa India. So imagine, India, last month ago, ang daming namamatay ng India, meron naman silang vaccine. Okay? This Bharat Biotech manufacturer, the research name nila is BBV512. And yung type nila, vaccine type is inactivated virus vaccine. And this interval ng nila is 21 days apart, or before the study is 14 days interval. Magpo-provide lang itong Bharat Biotech ng 14 days, 9 to 12 months immunity. So ito lang i-provide ng Bharat Biotech na 9 months lang ng immunity niyang COVID. Or kasi makikita mo dito, less pa yung study nila ng efficacy. Wala pa talagang napapatunayan na may efficacy. So, Covaxin, yung 100% na severe infection sa Covaxin. So, nag-drop yung impact ng infection sa mga hospitalized patients. And nasa phase 3 na rin sila for 25,800 na mga volunteers. So, sa kanila pwede yung hanggang 98 years old na pwede ma-vaccine. Sa ibang mga vaccine is hanggang lang siya, 60 or above with comorbidities. Dito sa kanila, 18 to 98 years old. So, 10% nung above age pwede nilang mavaksinan. And then, this Covaxin demonstrated an excellent safety record sa human. So, itong ginamit nila Covaxin, safety raw yung efficacy nito. Kasi marami ng humans na ginamit sa clinical trials. And ginamit na rin nila sa emergency. So, yung storage, pwede din siya sa pwede din siyang hanggang 8 degree Celsius itong si Bharat Biotech. Pero ganun pa rin sa India, yun pa rin, marami pa rin kasi hindi sila nag-follow ng protocol. Yung simplest protocol, wear mask, at saka nag-attend pa sila nung kanilang parang festival. Wala nang social distancing na nangyayari. So, next, titingnan natin yung mga next. Yes, dito na titingnan natin yung vaccination strategy na ginawa. So, ito yung sa COVAX. Hanggang millions na yung dosage na binigay nila. Dito natin makikita yung price per dose sa Malaysia. Ito yung Malaysia na version. So next, the effectiveness. The effectiveness of this Pfizer-BioNTech from United Kingdom, meron na silang 86%, 90%, and then in Israel, 94%. Ito yung ginamit ng Israel eh. Ito yung Pfizer-BioNTech. Next, yung United States, maker of Moderna, reported 100% death na rin sila. Yung efficacy ng Moderna sa mga asymptomatic and symptomatic is 68 to 97%. This Coronavac, wala pang na-report na mga asymptomatic, the same with the Sputnik V. So, yan yung symptomatic na meron na silang 95% yung efficacy nila. Sa severe, ito yung severe COVID-19 kasi merong level yung sa COVID-19, merong mild, moderate, severe, at saka yung mga ini-intubate na patients. So, they have that stages. Next is the distribution plan. So, dito natin malalaman kung paano dinidistribute yung vaccine. First, the COVID-19 vaccine distribution plan in the Philippines, stage 1. Meron pa siyang scientific evaluation. So this agency is the DOST, Department of Science and Technology, Department of Health, and then the vaccine expert. In stage 2, they have the access and acquisition from the agency involved, the DFA and the DOF. So kailangan nilang dumaan dyan sa access na acquisition. Next, the stage 3 is the procurement process. So agency involved dito, PS, DBM, and Department DOF. Next is the stage 4, the production. Ito na yung shipment, storage, dito na siya sa stage 4. Then stage 5, distribution and deployment. So per agency, ibibigay na nila yan. And then next, stage 6, implementation of vaccination plan. Dito na yung DOH. Sila na yung mag-disseminate ng programs. So, ano nga yung program ng DOH ngayon sa bakuna is Res Bakuna, kasangga ng bida. So, yun yung kanilang program for they implement and then they sa lahat ng mga LGUs and then to the barangays. Next, stage 7, ito na yung assessment and evaluation and monitoring. So, dito na siya sa ang agency involved is DOH pa rin, DOST, UP National Institute of the Philippines. Next is the vaccination overview. So mag-overview lang tayo ng ilan na ba ang na-vaccinate sa Philippines and sa world. Okay, in the Philippines, this is the latest data. As of May 9, Philippine given dosage is 2.41 m. And then fully vaccinated, ito yung given dose. Ito pa yung isang dose pa lang sila given. Ito yung fully vaccinated, 2 dose na. Either Moderna, Astrazeneca, or Cyanobac. So 451,000 vaccinated, fully vaccinated person, or in total population, meron na tayong 0.4. So, konti pa lang, no? Hindi pa siya, ang percentage is 0.4 percentage or percent. So, sa world, given doses is 1.32 billion. The fully vaccinated is 319 million. In total population in the whole world is 4.1% pa lang ang nabibigyan ng vaccine. So hindi pa talaga magiging normal kasi hindi pa fully vaccinated ang lahat ng tao at saka meron pang hindi pa yung iba hindi pa nila kaya na mapavaccine kasi natatakot sa mga effect. Meron kasing mga maririnig nila na hindi talaga sila, parang need education yung ating community. So we as healthcare workers, that is our job to educate why we need vaccine. Next is, what is the importance of vaccine? So the Filipino public must understand that it is only through vaccination that the spread of virus can be controlled and contained. So dito lang talaga natin makokontrol yung virus if meron na tayong immunity sa ating katawan. Kasi yung vaccine nagbibigay ng immunity. And only a successful vaccination program can help the country recover and finally win the fight against COVID-19 pandemic. Okay? Likewise, for the national vaccination program to be successful, it is important for Filipinos to have faith and confidence in the Philippine government that it is doing its best to produce or to procure vaccines regardless of the brand names that are not only cost efficient but highly effective. Yes, ito kasi yung government natin, gumagawa din naman sila ng paraan para lahat tayo ma-vaccine or ma-vaccinated regardless of what are the brand names of that. But so far, sa mga kakilala kong nurses dito na working sa hospital, yung Astrazeneca, grabe daw yung effect kasi yung ginamit na vaccine sa kanila is live attenuated vaccine, which is that is a live virus. So, yung sa kanila, merong nagsusuka, fever for 3 days, and then grabe yung fatigue ng katawan nila. So, grabe yung effect. So, sa akin naman, kahapon, Cyanobac yung vaccine na ginamit sa amin is, yun lang, mild lang yung na-experience ko, yung pain on the site. Nilagyan ko lang siya ng ice. Tapos, wala naman akong na-feel. And then, later on, yung LBM lang, na I guess 6 times akong nagbawas last night and then this early morning. So, Filipinos should be cognizant of the fact that all vaccines that enter the country will go through vigorous checking, careful evaluation, painstakingly thorough regulation review, procedures by a panel of experts in the Food and Drug Administration, even before they are given authorization of approval for use to ensure safety and efficacy. So dapat talagang manggagaling ang authorization sa FDA, i-check pa nila yan. For example, nung first na dumating yung vaccine, ni-inject na yun sa mga sundalo, yung sa mga ni president, yung mga guards niya, binati ko sila noon kasi hindi pa daw dumaan sa FDA. So kailangan talagang dumaan tayo sa agency na ito para i-check nila, i-evaluate nila kung ano yung, kasi sila yung pinaka magaling dito sa
Miss Between, nawala ka?
Nakamute sa ate.
next. And Filipinos must trust the process talaga. We need to trust the process. Then, the budget. So, ito yung budget na nakalaan for 82.5 billion pesos ng ating government or billion pesos sa yung US dollar is 1.7 billion budget. From Astrazeneca, ito yung doses at saka prices. And then, AstraZeneca, dose is 610 pesos. Novavax, 366. Pfizer, 2,000. Mahal yung Pfizer. And then yung Moderna, mahal din. 3,000 hanggang 4,000. Cyanobac, 3,000. Gamalaya, 1,220. And the COVAX family is the 854. So, mura yung AstraZeneca na price. Next. possible side effects of COVID-19. Ito na-discuss na ata to ni Jam.
Yes, ate.
Doon na kami, sir, sa question and answers. Baka may mga tanong po sila. Guys, do you have questions or suggestion or reaction?
Violent reaction.
Violent reaction, sorry guys. Grabe talagang mahal sa tubig. Na-run out pa sa amin. My goodness. Lakas pa ng ulan. Sige lang, tuloy lang ang laban. Okay, may question pa ba kayo? Kasi kami yung magbibigay ng question sa inyo. Meron kaming hinahandang question. At yung price namin is magbibigay kami ng 100 pesos load in any networks po. Do you have still questions? Sir Prince, doon na lang kami sa sa questions namin.
All right, you can proceed with your Q&A.
Sir, doon na lang kami sa part ng ng questions namin. Sa later part na last part. Merong question number 1 doon.
So, eto guys, question number 1. Paunahan na lang ng pagpindot ng mute. So, question number 1 is, what is the drug of choice to treat hospitalized COVID-19 patient? Anyone, guys?
Remdesivir, ma'am.
Sino yung nauna? At Tezu, sino yung nauna? Yung lalaki?
Hindi ko makita mo. Send niyo lang yung yung comment, yung number.
Paunahan na lang ng ng chat, sa chat. Chat box.
Chat box lang.
Then, kapag una-una, alam nyong nauna kayo, please pakikuan yung name tsaka yung contact number.
Yung contact number, si April Boy nauna sa chat box.
Sir April Boy Davalios. Sir April Boy, po yung number mo?
You win 100 peso load. Paki-chat na lang yung number po para makopy namin.
PM ko na lang po kay Ate Zu po.
Okay.
Ay, sige. Ayaw niyang ilantad, baka may maka-textmate siya.
Okay. Next question, number 2.
Question number 2. What date did the WHO announce the official name for the disease causing coronavirus outbreak?
Paunahan na lang po sa chat box.
Ate, date ba yan? Hindi year?
Ha? Complete date po, anong month, at saka anong day, at saka anong year. What date did the WHO announce the official name for the disease causing coronavirus outbreak? Ito yung time na nag-announce na talaga ng official name ng WHO sa virus na to.
March 11, 2020 daw ate.
Hindi. Hindi po. Meron pa? Meron pa ibang answer?
February 11.
Yes, February 11. Si Valdez Kate Roselet.
Hindi,
So,
si Ma'am Rain Stephanie O. Peregrino.
Ay, oo. Rain Stephanie siya nauna. February 11, correct answer po.
Ma'am Rain, pa-chat na lang ako or kay Ate Sue yung number mo.
Okay, very good. Next question, number 3. Oh, may binigay siyang number. Pfizer BioNTech COVID-19 vaccines require injections, 2 injections given. So now the question is, how many days apart for the next dose? Pfizer BioNTech po.
28 days, wrong.
What's the answer, guys?
Ma'am Rain Stephanie Peregrino got the answer. 21 days.
Okay, 21 days apart. So, bigay niyo lang yung number niyo.
Ma'am Rain, paano lang din lang na ayun si Ma'am Rain. Wow, naka 200 pesos na si Ma'am Rain.
Wow, ang galing-galing naman. Next is question number 4.
Tanga pa eh.
Question number 4. What is the efficacy rate of Moderna COVID-19 vaccine? Paunahan po sa chat box.
Ma'am.
Kailangan complete answer. Ang nakakuha si Julia Gale. Complete answer niya 94.1, merong percent. Yung iba walang percent. Wala siyang apelido.
Si Ma'am Ferly Pada Pilde, ate ang nauna.
Ang nakakuha si Julia Gale Aragon.
Ate, nauna si Ma'am Ferly Espada Pilde dun sa dulo. Ay sa may pinakauna ate.
Tama pala. 94.1 si Ma'am Ferly Espada po. Correct answer po. Efficacy rate ng Moderna is 94.1%.
Ma'am Ferly, contact number po.
So, the last question, number 5.
Question.
Okay. Both Pfizer and BioNTech and Moderna vaccines, what type of vaccines did they use?
What type of vaccine did they use?
Meron nang nakakuha ng answer si Ma'am Jezabel Baliktan, mRNA.
Dapat yung
Tama, mRNA.
Dati pang tawag na dito, darling Dan.
Ano, Jam?
May pang-call na sila sa mga boyfriends nila, ate.
So, meron nang nanalo Jam sa question number 5, si Jezabel
Ate,
Baliktan.
may complete. Ay, wrong, hindi pala siya. Si Ma'am Febelin Cosef.
Okay, sige. Kompleto na?
Ma'am Febelin Cosef encapsulated mRNA vaccine.
Okay. Thank you guys for listening and sana may natutunan kayo kahit merong mga errors na nangyari for this day. Pinaghandaan pero meron talagang may nangyari talaga. So sorry for that. And ang lakas ng ulan kasi dito sa amin. And I am so thankful that Sir Prince hindi niya binitawan ang seminar kasi ako kanina parang stress na. But sir, thank you so much sir for giving me a chance na before leaving PLTC, makakapagbigay din ako ng information kahit konti sa mga lower years. So thank you so much. Thank you so much sir for the opportunity.
Thank
And
you.
ikaw na dyan.
Between and Miss Jamaica, no? There's always a first time, sabi nga nila, but of course, it went good naman on the latter part of the seminar. So thank you so much for your effort. Thank you so much for pushing through with this seminar entitled COVID vaccine. We have learned a lot. I'm sure our participants have learned a lot as well. And we hope that with this seminar, we were able to encourage your participants to have their vaccines soon as we have our rollout of vaccination with the general population first quarter this year. Again, congratulations for a job well done.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you guys for being with us today. Yung
mga numbers wala pa. Yung mga numbers nila.
Okay, PM ko lang yung numbers nila sa mga nanalo. We will send the 100 peso load na ano. At saka yung mga certificates nyo saan na naka-sign kayo sa sa ating evaluation at saka sa ating attendance form kasi doon namin kukunin or isi-send yung isi-send yung mga certificates nyo for today. Thank you so much guys. God bless everyone and sana later on magpapavaccine na rin kayo kasi prone tayo at least meron naman tayong immunity pagdating sa duty. Hindi naman 100% na hindi ka na talaga mag-COVID. At least hindi magiging severe or meron ng pang-fight yung ating katawan from the virus. Thank you so much guys. PM nyo na lang yung number at saka yung attendance mamaya. Isasend namin yung certificates nyo. God bless po.
Thank you guys.
Thank you din.